Protesters take residence all over the United States in universities in protest of what's happening in Palestine with Hamas and the war and everything that's going on in the Middle East. One thing, when I look at this stuff, my wife always tells me, you don't have any clue what's going on in the world because you're so focused and tunnel vision in what you're doing. In my eyes, when I look at this stuff, I sit back and I go, okay, I look at it from a standpoint that you're fighting fire with fire. Now I understand that what's happening in Israel and what's happening in Palestine is bad. I sit back and go, I can protest or I can go out and help people. You know that with what's happening with Russia and the war on the Ukraine, that we've hired Ukrainians. You know that I spoke to a Ukrainian last week when I was in Miami that was a doctor in Ukraine and now moved to the States. He's driving as an Uber driver, and I talked to him about his standpoint on stuff. And his standpoint was he was just happy to remove himself from the situation and be in a country that allows him freedom to work and do what he needs to be doing to sustain life. And I look at these protesters and I say, how can we really make an impact on these people? And my idea of it, because I look at it from an entrepreneur's perspective, because obviously I'm in business and I'm in real estate, and as an investor, I look at it from an entirely different perspective than most people. But I look at it through a job creation standpoint. I look at it from a standpoint where we're going out and we're creating solutions and not adding to problems. And so I understand that they're staking a voice on what they disagree with, on how things are being handled out there. And it's not that any of us understand and appreciate what's happening out there and that we want that happening, but how do we make an impact to make it more positive? So you make all this noise, you vandalize schools, you hurt people locally. Aren't you just creating war to protest against war? When you see men going in with shields, with guns and mace, and they're having to protect themselves against crazy, angry protesters, I sit back and go, I get what you're trying to do. And on the news, it does create and stimulate a little attention. And with that attention, a lot of times you can maybe move and migrate situations a little bit. But what if you took all those protesters, and what if you took all of the United States, and we just went out individually each day? And I tell my kids this every single day when they leave to school. I said, hey guys, I said, smile today. And I said, and don't only smile, but make somebody else smile. And if you only go out and you make an impact in only one person's life today, you're doing more than the average person. Help make an impact on one person's life today, even if it's in the smallest way, I tell them, by opening a door, picking something up that falls on the floor. Just make somebody smile every single day. And if you can impact somebody's life every single day, you're going to move mountains if we all did that from a place of our hearts. And so I look at it from like a business perspective, and I look at it from an entrepreneur perspective, and I say, why don't we look at it from job creation? So if you're an investor, if you're in real estate, if you're self-employed, and you're looking at and you're watching all this mass chaos, and you're sitting back going, yeah, I disagree with what's going on in Palestine. I disagree with Hamas and everything that's happening with this organization, and I'm going to protest about it. Well, if you're going to protest, move mountains, and move mountains by creating solutions. Just like a recession, people find reasons why not to invest. People find reasons why not to do. Find reasons why you should. And when you're looking at things from a business perspective, ladies and gentlemen, when you're looking at things from a business perspective, a life perspective, an ethical and moral perspective, when you're looking at things from a faith perspective and just a human perspective, embrace life, but embrace all lives, right? Like God doesn't just put great people here in the United States. Great people are dropped all over this entire world. There is no discrimination of talent anywhere in the world. Sometimes there's a lack of resources for the talent, but there's never a lack of talent. There are smart people, there are talented people across the entire world. There are good people across the entire world. And so when I sit back and go, sometimes I will spend more time investing in somebody that migrates in from Palestine or somebody who's coming in from Israel or from Ukraine or some of these places that are under fire and under war, because they just want to remove themselves from the chaos, from all the anger and all the evil that's going on. And so what I'll do is I'll see these people and I see a person. I see happiness in them. I see the gracious gratitude that they have for being removed from that negative situation. I was in San Diego about 4 months ago, and I had another Uber driver. It's funny how a lot of these people just come over, and Uber, God bless their hearts, they give opportunity to people that are coming into this country that just need work. And so Uber gives that opportunity to people, because I meet a lot of people on Uber, because I get off the plane at an airport, I go to my event, I talk, I speak, I network, I leave, and I head back. I eat at the hotel, and I just go back. So a lot of what I do, it revolves around me just migrating from an airport to a hotel, maybe a hotel to a restaurant, back to a hotel, and back to the airport. And when I do this, I meet more high-quality people. And I'll tell you that one of the things, I was in Dallas and the same thing happened. This guy was actually from Ghana, and I was talking to him about Africa, and I was talking to him about his experience moving here. And I talked to him about his sacrifices. And one of the things that he talked about was he was asking me about real estate and his interest in real estate. And I said, tell me about your family. I said, are they all here? And he said, they are now. And I said, well, when did they move here? I said, did you come first? And tell me the story. And the story behind it was this gentleman from Ghana, he goes, well, I came down, and he goes, I started working. My wife and I came down, we left our kids with family. He didn't say what type of family, he said with family. They came down, he goes, but the kids needed my wife. So I needed to create a life here first. So I sent my wife back, and I said, how long did it take you? He said, it took me 3 years to get the whole family here. And I said, 3 years? And he said, 3 years. He said, the first year I struggled a lot. He goes, I found a family that housed me, and they brought me in, and I had to figure out a way to sustain finances. This guy was an attorney out there. And so you can't practice law in the United States, because the laws in the United States are totally different than they are in Africa and in Ghana specifically. So he came into the United States, and he worked doing Uber, and then he worked in restaurants, landed up opening up a restaurant, and he was still driving for Uber on the side to help fund the expenses of him opening up that restaurant. Then he brought his family in. Now his family works within the restaurant, and he had to bring his kids in, and he has 3 of them. So a family of 5 moves from Ghana, sacrifices 3 years with their father. The father sacrifices 3 years with his family to go out and migrate to do what it takes. Now, some people sit back and they whine and complain about the economic circumstances or that we're in as a country, that money's too expensive, there's inflation, and we're sitting back complaining about who should be president. And really what you should be focusing on is not going out and sitting down in a campus someplace, tearing doors off of classrooms and throwing chairs and propping doors closed and protesting. But what you should be focusing on is your solution to go out and migrate towards something bigger than yourself. So that way you can go out and get the finances, the money part out of the way, and then start going in and then helping other people, even if it's just one person every single day. So to all you protesters out there, as I go in, I create jobs for people that are coming in from countries that are under distress and at war. What are you doing right now in your life to impact not just your life, but somebody else's life? And for most people, they're doing absolutely nothing because they themselves cannot help themselves. And a drowning person cannot save another drowning person. So if you're not sitting on stable ground financially, you need to pay attention right now, more than ever, ladies and gentlemen. The capitalistic ways that our forefathers set for us, the opportunities that exist not just in real estate, but in business, have paved paths for us that our education system has restricted us from being able to go out there and understand the full potential and full possibilities that are available to you. Yet other people come in from these countries just seeking opportunity. They don't have the brainwash of all the bullshit that has been sold to them in over 13,000 hours in an education system that teaches you only to be a good employee, not an entrepreneur, not a business person, and not take advantage of capitalism. And they come in and they learn. So if you see a meetup in Denver, in Phoenix, in Dallas, in Miami, in Utah, anywhere across the United States, and you see diversity in my room, you will understand that it's that diversity in ethnicity from all people, all colors, all makes, all races, all religious beliefs that makes what we do work so damn well, because it's non-discriminatory. We live in a country that you can come in no matter what your color of skin is, no matter what your faith is, no matter what you do, and you can create opportunity for yourself, your family, and your loved ones. People come in from China speaking only Mandarin, They open up beauty salons, nail salons. They come in and they get into real estate and they get into other business endeavors and they crush it. And never once do they even learn our language. People come from Mexico or down in South America, from Ecuador. They come into our country speaking zero English. They get into the trades. And as they get into the trades and into restaurants and into blue-collar fields, they could become owners of and become entrepreneurs. They take advantage of what's available to them in our country, and those people thrive and typically do better financially over the course of time than those of us who are born and raised here. Yet I give you guys opportunities to learn for free and create an educational platform where you can go to YouTube and just watch all of this content, hours and hours and hours, days and days and days. It's taken me years and years and years to create this for you. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, in the vehicle of real estate and specifically housing, there's more opportunity than's ever existed in our entire existence. And ladies and gentlemen, if you pay attention and you focus and you start listening and learning and go out there and executing, you can start moving mountains in your own life and also in other people's life. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't typically talk and lecture upon some of these topics. I'm typically teaching on real estate. But if you like this topic and you want more of it, and you also want to learn about real estate, multifamily real estate, how to buy land, build houses, and scale and make money doing it, a lucrative money doing it, then click and subscribe to our YouTube channel, smash that thumbs up button, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to recommend some educational videos that are going to take your life to the next level as soon as you're done with this one. Click, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.